What attracted you to a very, very old party?
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toivo, for this opportunity. I really appreciate, or let me say, the youth. We appreciate the fact that like you invite a lot of young individuals here. You invite a lot of quite young leaders here, and you know, it serves as a platform for you know to teach the young kids how to lead, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much, Toivo. And what attracted me to the SWAPO party is the fact that I myself, I believe in the philosophies of Pan-Africanism, Marxist-Leninism, but with a Pan-African view of how to do stuff, you know. And in that nature, of course, I'm to be drawn to a political party that is the same political aspirations as me, the same ideologies as me, which is SWAPO. SWAPO is a socialist. First of all, is a socialist ideology. The ideology of SWAPO is orientated in that view of socialism, you know. So firstly, that's what attracted me to SWAPO.
Yeah. I forgot to mention to the viewers that you are also a student, a political science student?
Yeah, I'll go to UNAM, yeah.
Yeah, okay, absolutely. And that was why, part of the reason also why we felt that you're not just, we just didn't pick you from the streets, you're also a student of politics.
Of course. I'm a student of the University of Namibia, you know. We studied political science, we're still, you know, about to graduate in a few years, but yeah.
Yeah. Will you get a job in the SWAPO under the SWAPO government leadership? I'm asking because fellow graduates right now are struggling. So what are your hopes for the future?
The hopes for the future? Will I get a job in the SWAPO-led government?
Not in the government itself, just in a country led by SWAPO.
Would I get the job in the country run by SWAPO?
Yes.
First of all, I have a question. My question is, do you ask me, Khumalo, as a political science student, or you are asking with regards of everybody, all the youth in the country?
No. I'm asking. Of course, it's a rhetorical question, but it's a question directed at you as a young person to say, what are your hopes for the future in a country that is having massive youth unemployment under the very party that you are a member of?
Oh no, that is very clear. That is it's been made clear in our party's manifesto for the 27th, on the elections on the 27th. The incoming president, Ms. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, she had made it very clear. She has made it very clear that she's going to allocate a budget to make sure that like the young people get jobs. You know, young people actually have like a standard chance to get employed up and be swallowed up by by the economy. And on the other hand, jobs, they look it looks very promising. I mean, under the SWAPO-led government, it looks very, very promising. As you know, we have the green hydrogen scheme. That scheme, just a few days ago, we were at a rally here in Windhoek West here, and James Newpay, they were there, and they made it very clear to the youth that the green hydrogen scheme is going to create about 20,000 jobs. You know, that's a lot of jobs, and that's just like what's currently happening right now. Not something that's like in the future, but it's tangible things. You know, like currently as we speak, about 20,000 jobs are to be created, and that's under the SWAPO-led government. And then after, yet again, the Namibian people give us now that responsibility to drive them into the future. We are going to the SWAPO-led government has made it clear to the youth that they're going to create a lot of jobs in other industries, and not just in the energy industry.
Matthias, it was a big scandal. It was huge in terms of really getting to see how lack of interest certain members of parliament have in the proceedings of important issues such as the budget, which is important too for development within our country. But prior to that, we have been, as opposition, been singing the same song for about 3 years now. This trend has been it's showing itself in terms of, for example, on Thursdays we have question time. Many ministers do not opt, and questions that were asked maybe from members of the public institutions where they want us to go and ask very important questions on health, sports, so that we can hold those ministers in line accountable, directly accountable. They don't show up, and then our questions end up lapsing all the time. I don't think you remember last year, there was an article where the speaker had to come out to the public saying that, you know, we have to postpone the parliamentary proceedings because of lack of a quorum. Last year, that was an issue. And we have been saying it, but I think it has been falling on deaf ears. Fast forward to this, now there's an important bill that needs to be tabled. The same absenteeism behavior that these people displayed over the years has increased. And it has been exacerbated due to the fact that most of them, 70% of the MPs, particularly from the ruling party, if you follow the trend, immediately after the electoral pot, they were absent. The following day after that, the weeks after that, they did not come to when we went on recess. It even affects to the point of our own work outside of chambers, the parliamentary committee work that we have to do within the regions to ensure that we get to finish our reports on specific motions. They are absent. They do not want to travel. They do not want to do their work because either they want to show themselves to maybe show favor to the presidential candidate Netumbo, so she can maybe put them on the top 8, I don't know, list of hers, or I don't know why, director positions that they are fishing for, because now they know that they are unemployed. The struggle is going to be real for them next year. But honestly, it is very much it is very disheartening to see that there's a lack of interest. And again, you look at how the public responded to this. People were interested in knowing what is the economic situation of the country. How does, for example, the minister intend to make adjustments to address the increasing unemployment, for example, sanitation issues that we have, the increasing urbanization, which is leading to a 40% of urban people living in informal settlements. Again, it's a crisis. These are statistics that were tabled by the Namibian state, the NSA. Thank you. So we are really, really saying that this has been a big embarrassment, but however, we want to urge the Namibians to take note in their minds as they are going to vote. They should ensure that these events that has followed, that are even coming close to elections, I feel politicians should be on their best behaviors. I mean, this is the time where you see politicians are, lifting babies, playing around, going to church. If they are praying for the first time, they are praying now for votes and showing off at concerts, what. But again, that lack of interest is a slap in Namibians' faces because it just shows that they do not care. Even 22 days prior to elections, they do not show interest. Again, Namibians should be awake and they should take accountability at the ballot.
One would also perhaps ask the question that this lack of interest, is it because the rules and the punitive measures put in place to really keep MPs in check if they don't fulfill their obligations as far as attending sessions is concerned? Are these rules too lax? Is this why MPs can get away with this type of behavior?
You have seen that the rules have been laxed. You have seen that some members, for example, have not even said anything in Parliament for the 5-year term that they're there. You see that the system of the chief whips is really there to ensure and control that not only just the agenda, but to ensure that there's obedience within the parliamentary systems from members of Parliament. Again, it also shows the lack of seriousness also that comes from the Speaker's office, his inability to control the members of Parliament, something that that the Landless People's Movement has been really speaking about from the moment that we went to court, that the way he handles Parliament has been an issue, and it has resulted in many instances. For example, we would have chaos in Parliament where a member from his own ruling party would stand up and disrespect him and disrupt the entire proceeding, where we cannot even continue with the discussions for about 30 minutes straight. He's just going back and forth. The speaker says he has pronounced himself. The MP overrules his pronouncement. Again, that just shows that there's a lack of obedience, there's a lack of seriousness. And again, it goes back to the oath that we took as members of Parliament. On the 20th of March 2020, we took an oath to say that we will serve the country with all our might, our health and determination, and to ensure that we really get to be the voice of the voiceless. We again contravened this oath by not ensuring that the same enthusiasm, the same energy and the same robustness that we brought into Parliament when we wanted to show ourselves off to the nation in the 2020 is now what we are not finishing with in 2025. And there should be accountability. Again, accountability is something that we have been saying. Parliament is a rubber stamp institution that is not even able to control disciplinary matters in the right manner and to follow the standing rules and order.
What do you make, because I remember Honorable Elma Dienda from PDM was quoted in one of the local papers saying that maybe Parliament should be suspended during election year. What do you make of that?
We are not in agreement with that. We believe that in every responsibility, you should complete it. It's like saying that we should just all close shop and go on holiday because we are going on elections. And let's be honest, not all members of Parliament that are in Parliament are actually on the ground. Many of them are on their farms. We are seeing them braaiing there with their families. We are seeing them go on expensive trips in with their families. It's not all of them that are actually trying to ensure that they come back in Parliament. In fact, many of them, even when they see themselves at the list of 75, for example, they completely stop showing political interest, even attending their own political rallies. You don't see them. You can even count them. So again, it's not an issue of elections. The business of government should continue, and the Parliament, being the second arm of government, should continue to ensure that we hold the executive accountable, to ensure that we push motions and table bills that will continue to affect the lives of people. After elections, there is life and development that should be considered after elections. There is not something that we should just put on pause and allow members of Parliament to continue getting S&T. In fact, would you then ask, if Parliament closes, because when Parliament goes on recess, we then commence with our regional activities where people go on diplomatic missions, would you then request that there should be the same call for that, so that members of Parliament do not get big S&Ts that they are getting? Or will that continue in her statement? I don't know. I cannot really add to what she was saying. But we're saying that the order of the day must continue. People's lives are important. Every day it comes with different challenges, and Parliament is an important institution to deal with those everyday life struggles that people face.
Of course, the argument is that, a month before elections, everyone is out in the field campaigning and so on. So is there room for both activities to coexist so close to elections? Is there that room?
To a certain extent, yes. I will not be oblivious to the fact that it is a strenuous activity, both on our health. We have even seen our presidential candidate from the ruling party having to have health issues where people are concerned about her health due to the fact that obviously the campaigns are heavy on her. But again, it is our responsibility via the Constitution to ensure that we do table bills and we do ensure that we finish our work. We are given a timeline. And again, if you look at Parliament, we go on recess. It's not like we are busy the whole year. So we have gotten some form of time to actually go on the ground and consolidate the voters and to ensure that our political parties' campaigns run smoothly. We have seen in the recess that multiple parties have even tabled their motions, for example. So that was not stalled because Parliament, was operating. matters still continued. Members were still excused to allow them to come to Parliament, and then after that go and deal with their work. Parliamentarians only come in chambers, come from Tuesday, Wednesday to Thursday. You have Monday, you have Friday, you have the weekend to deal with your parliament party work. It just shows a lack of interest that is very much embarrassing. It's a scandal, and there is no excuse in any book that can measure to the type of lackluster behavior that was displayed by certain MPs.
Yeah. As a chief whip,
Yes.
how much control and power do you have over MPs from your party to ensure that they toe the line as far as attending sessions are concerned? And I'm sure it's the same strategy or similar strategy that would be used by chief whips. How much control do you have over your party members in that regard?
Well, Matthias, it also depends on the institution. It depends on the party itself. The culture of the party determines the overall discipline. But however, we do have some form of control. I'll speak for myself. We do have a whippery system where you strike people 3 times, and if they do not come, for example, if they are not, it goes beyond even attending Parliament. It goes to ensuring that they adhere to the parliamentary agenda that is set at our parliamentary caucuses. If, for example, we want a specific MP to speak on this matter and they do not speak, and they do not have a valid reason as to why they do not speak on that matter, then I have a right to whip you. And if I whip you 3 times, then we obviously have a problem. And I actually have the right to remove you and write to the ECN representative of our political party via the overall support, obviously, of the top structures, because we are always in consultations with the top structures to see how our MPs are performing, where we evaluate where we can do better. And if they are in agreement to remove that such member of parliament, we will do it. I mean, LPM has a reputation of not being not being too shy in terms of holding our own people accountable. We have, for instance, fired councillors who have been not wanting to do their work, who have not been following up on the promises that they have made from party level. So again, in our system as the Lendlease People's Movement, there is accountability. But however, when you look at it from the ruling party side, you have had instances where the chief whip himself cannot even control the agenda of the party. You would even have to call up on him and say, hey, control your people. And he literally does not have power. Unfortunately, because of the bigger guns like ministers who overlook at his authority, you see that there is a bulldozing behavior that works within the ruling party, that you just not only see them trying to bulldoze opposition, but within the smaller positions of a chief whip. I mean, a minister would look at a chief whip as if they are nothing. I mean, you could have already seen it, and I will not mention names, but there are members of parliament who directly challenge the speaker himself. So again, that shows that there is a great disobedience within the ruling party structure, and again, which disenables the ability for the chief whip to effectively install order in their party structures.
Yeah. Well, some people watching the show tonight might be saying, oh, it's easy for Utara to sit there and bash the ruling party and so on. But LPM has 2 regions it's controlling in the south. The work you did there, do you think it's enough to convince voters to say, look what we are doing in these regions, give us a bigger mandate?
Yes, in fact, it is not just something that, we go out there and saying that we have done this. People themselves are coming to us as a party. When they see us on the street, wherever, even in Windhoek, you are going to the shopping malls, people stop you and they say, we like what you do. We're seeing what you're doing for the regions. In fact, recently we gave plots, unserviced plots. We ensured that our people are going to be prioritized first in terms of land delivery. We're going to speed up the process, because one of the issues that stagnates land delivery is serviced land. Why not prioritize people who are saying, I can service my land myself, give me the portion of plot, and I can do the work myself. We have started ensuring that we we write off people's debts in the South. We wrote off the debts of elderly. We have given sanitation in areas that needed, sanitation and access to water. We have delivered in terms of housing. We have delivered in terms of roads. If you see the roads, even in Marintal, that goes all the way to Keetmans, we have done the development. And we are saying that through this little time, this is what we were able to do with our capable leadership and our capable councillors. This is what we're able to do, not just at Parliament, but we are a party that effectively speaks and does the actual work that is being done and being said in our manifesto and in our Parliament. We are not a political party that just opposes, but we are a governing system that ensures that we are transforming in terms of ideology, and we are transforming in terms of the practicality of the work that we are doing. People themselves come to us. They say, congratulations, we are with you. In fact, I drive my car, I have stickers on my car. Whenever they see the stickers on the car and I stop at the robots, people tell me to, put down my window, and they are having their fist at us, and they're like, we love what you are doing. We love what you stand for. We love what you are doing in terms of the transformation of the South. If you look at the South, our rallies, for example, we were not able to reach all areas in 2019 due to lack of resources. But even in the South itself, areas that we were not able to reach in Osinker, people are coming. In fact, we even ran out of membership cards in Osinker, where we had to request membership cards from the headquarters because people just wanted to join the movement, because people understand what the Landless People's Movement speaks for. It is not, again, this rhetoric of we are against Northerners, we are tribalists. No. It is now people themselves seeing that LPM, whatever LPM has said, they have stood for. Whatever LPM has said in terms of holding people accountable, we have done. If people are corrupt in our party, we deal with them. No one is above the party. And this is not just a notion that we sing at party rallies, but this is a notion that is also transformed and is seen within our party. And again, people see it and they love the accountability of LPM, and that is the result.
Yeah.
A little bit in the last local authority election where you won one seat in the Katima Mulilo Town Council, but at the national level you haven't made any mark. What do you think made a difference? What is the difference this time around?
I think the system currently in Namibia prevented me. What I'm saying is that, the Electoral Commission of Namibia is not independent, and it's been run by the ruling party. Ruling party, they are governing this country, and at the same time they are running elections as they are in charge. So by appointing the commissioners they report to the sitting president, and this report to the Minister of Urban and Rural, and this report also to the Minister, to the Prime Minister, and eventually they report to the Speaker of the Parliament. Those offices, they belong to the ruling party. So as a result, for the past, since the formation of this electoral body, it's a tool and the remote control of the ruling party. So they decide what to do. So according to me, my votes, the NDP's votes has been rigging. Yes, for the past years, past elections. And also 2019, it was worse than. So 2019, I was expecting to score even 2 or 3 seats. So as a result, our votes were stolen.
Do you think, Mr. Lukata, that of all parties in the country, anyone would tamper with the votes of NDP, one of the smallest parties in the country?
It's possible. Because what I understand, what I have been observed, political parties who never come, they come from nowhere, register with ECN. They score 2 seats or 1 seat. What is that? So people, when they heard about our votes that we didn't score even a single seat, they were crying, the whole Namibian people. Yes, they were crying. What happened to our votes?
Yeah.
Yes.
So let me ask you this, Mr. Lukata. You see, some of these parties that you are saying are new and they just arrived on the scene and suddenly they have a seat or two in parliament. Let's take an example of the Namibia Economic Freedom Fighters, a relatively new party, and we have seen their leaders at the forefront of some things. Michael Amshelelo is a member of that party. He's always at the forefront of some of these things. We saw last year Mr. Mukwilongo, the party leader, also being shot with rubber bullets at Chinatown there because they went there to the picketing line. Do you think those things, I mean, in your case, what do you do? What do you do to also portray yourself as a savior of the people, especially youth unemployment? You know, you march with them. What do you do to put yourself out there?
Yeah, that's a very important question. You know, NDP, if I don't make a mistake, it's one of the top political party in Namibia, which is fighting for the youth, fighting for the Namibian nation in the forefront. The only difference is that it differs from, let me say, the way how to fight or to lead people in activities. If you watched 2 months back or 3 months back, where I led and support the demonstrators in Katutura, where they were demanding seat of Windhoek, a lot of demands. I was part and parcel. It happened just recently. Not even a single political party was there. But NDP, me, myself, I was part and parcel. Just an example. And when we talk about fighting for the better living standard of our people countrywide, I think if there is any political parties, they become behind me. Yes.
And so